Hey folks, I'm Mike. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence. It keeps this blog ad-free. Hello and welcome to an Inkdependence.com brief video review and water drop test. Today we have this ink. This is Urushi Red from Franklin-Christoph. In the interest of full disclosure, my wife Audrey works at Franklin-Christoph. So if you had anything shipped from Franklin-Christoph in the last 3 weeks-ish, it's probably shipped by her. So she's been working there for about the last 3 weeks or so. Anyway, I'm going to keep reviewing Franklin-Christoph stuff when it comes up because I think it's a darn good company and they make really cool stuff. So my personal relationship notwithstanding to this company, please do trust my objectivity. I do, and what you see is what you get in these reviews. So I hope that you can overlook or just sort of, understand that I have a wife that works there, but I don't work for there. I'm not paid for it. And I did buy this, so I got this at the last pin show. No, when did I get this? Yeah, I got it in DC, I want to say, so I haven't had it all that long. Anyway, this is the Franklin-Christoph nozzle bottle. I don't actually know what they're calling it, but this is really easy to use to eyedropper pens. So if you're a person who likes to eyedropper pens, and you're tired of using a syringe or whatever, you can just open this up, this cap right here. You know, if you had Elmer's glue as a school child, you'll know this cap. And just sploop right in there. Now, I don't eyedropper pens, so I haven't tried it, but I've seen them use it at shows, and it seems to work out just fine. So, there you go. Alright, so let's look at the ink now. It is called Urushi Red. If you're not familiar with Urushi, it is a really awesome painting process that is Japanese, if I'm not completely mistaken. You can get it on some American pens. Jonathan Brooks of Carolina Pen Company uses it. A couple of other people maybe, but it's kind of toxic because it's related to poison ivy and such. So, maybe don't try it at home unless you know what you're doing. Let's look at the ink. Alright, bottle aside, here we go. So this is what the ink looks like. You can see there's a whole lot of shading in this ink. And there is, it goes from like I guess there is kind of a slight sheen. I actually never noticed it until just now. Let's see if I can catch it with the camera there. Just a little bit. It's not enough sheen to really think you're going to get much of that. That's just a whole drop that was put on there as you saw before. So, don't expect sheen, but I guess it's technically possible with this ink. It is a heavily shading ink, so not super saturated. In fact, as I say here, I was a little bit on the fence with this ink when I first got it. I had it in a bunch of pens. I had it in this pen, which is probably my favorite pen that I have. This is Franklin-Christoph Panther 40, and it's got the broad stub from Mike Matsuyama on there, and I love this pen. And then I had it in this one, which is a faber-castell Loom. This is a medium nib. There you go. I've got a fine nib for these two, but I think it's on another pen. It's in use. I didn't have it. And then it was in this one. I only got the one writing sample because it needed a little work. Somebody, before I got this pen, I got it secondhand, and somebody had, I guess, broken the sleeves nib unit off in there, so they shellacked it in there, and they got shellac on the nib and feed. Anyway, it was kind of messed up, and so Jim and Scott at Franklin-Christoph worked on it for me, and now it works fine, but it doesn't have Urushi Red in it any longer, so I won't show that as a sample. But this is a Franklin-Christoph 19, or 1901, actually. It's actually super old from, before they started making pens in their current facility. Anyway. Super old. I mean, it's about as old as Franklin-Christoph pens get anyway. All right. And as I said on here, I was a little bit on the fence, and the reason is because it's slightly, it felt undersaturated to me when I first started writing with it. It was kind of it's kind of thin. I've been using a lot of thin inks recently, like the Papier Plume stuff is usually a little bit thin and that kind of thing. And I usually prefer my inks like Noodlers or Private Reserve or most of the other Franklin-Christoph inks, which are, well, I guess that's not true. Anyway, I like a little more saturation. The Franklin-Christoph inks generally are a little bit more saturated than this one. They generally don't have nearly this much shading. This one has a ton of shading. So if you're a shading lover, you're going to like it a lot. Go over to the blog to check out lots of up-close pictures of that kind of stuff. I'm not sure it captures well enough here on video, but yeah, perhaps you can see some of that. So anyway, when it dries, that's what really caught me. So when it goes down, it's not my favorite ink right out of the nib, but once you let it dry, it looks awesome, and I'm actually kind of a big fan of that. Looking at color comparisons, let's zoom in here a skosh. Let it resolve. All right, cool. Good job, camera. The thing I think is closest to it is probably this one, which is Black Swan and English Roses from Noodlers. I've only just started using that. It was a gift to me from a blog watcher, or I guess a YouTube watcher, I should give this a little underline under compare. So let's do that. A little underline. And there. All right. I haven't had any problems with this one like starting up or anything like that, so you know, that's another thing I should mention. And these other inks are not really all that close. So Sites Krusnak, Papier Plume, Lover's Red, way darker. That's like a maroon, burgundy type thing. This one's like a tomato, as it says. Black Swan and English Rose is probably the closest, even though it's not exactly. I mean, it's definitely in the same like corner of the block, but they're not neighbors exactly. And then this Tecker ink goes down a lot brighter than it is here, but gets kind of close. It lacks the shading character for sure of Urushi Red. Anyway, this is a pretty cool ink, so hopefully this review is helpful. Let me see what I do with my syringe. Here we go. Let's go ahead and do the water test since we're here. Here it goes. Without putting a needle on there, I get a lot more bloops than I do lines, but nonetheless. Alright. You can definitely see some of the water swirling away there. I'm not exactly certain what to expect here. I'm not expecting much in the way of water resistance. I think it might be holding on better than I thought it was going to, so let's go ahead and blot this away. See how that ends up looking. There we go. And a whole lot of it came up. Yeah, it's about what I expected. Not a whole lot left. That's kind of all there is right there. So, yep, that's it. No water resistance on this guy, which is not shocking given that it's like it shades and it's got this like slightly thin characteristic. But a lot of it came up. You can actually see more of the lines here, I think, than you can here where it was. So there you go. All right, let's look at the chromatography right quick. Actually, it turns out I did this chromatography twice. I don't know where the video for the first one is, but this is the one that you just saw, and this is one I did before. There you go. Pretty much the same kind of action going on, which is what you expect. When you do chromatography, you shouldn't be shocked if you get the same result twice. It's kind of what, it's kind of what it's supposed to do. So down here where the ink originated, there was really just, there's nothing left. It's all moved. And you end up with this like really dark burgundy line up the top, a few streaks in there, some little pink bits, but really I think this is just kind of a solid reddish ink that's just got this nice shading characteristic. There you go. That's all there is to it. Not a whole lot of complexity in this one. There we go. By the way, I don't actually know where Franklin-Christoph inks originate. I know that they bottle them there and they mix them and stuff, but you know, I don't know what's in them. I wish I did. I wish I could give you inside information, but I don't. All right. So let's see, copy paper test. Let's take a look at that. Let's back out a bit. All right, so here it is on the copy paper. This is, of course, as usual, Staples 20-pound bond. Not a whole lot of bad behavior here. You've got a little bit of feather in a couple of places. So, like right here, if I'm being real picky, maybe a little bit of feather. Here a little bit. But keep in mind that two of these are pretty broad stubs, and that one of them is a pretty wet medium, which is Panther. This one. So this is the medium. These are the broad stubs, and so you're going to see a lot of ink hit the paper. But even so, on the back, look at that. I mean, you got a few spots. You're going to expect a few spots from nibs that heavy, especially on this 20-pound paper. But looks pretty good, actually. You get a lot of ghosting because it's kind of darker ink, but just a few spots of bleed. So actually, this is really good behavior. I was impressed. I thought it was going to be worse. I don't know why, but I just kind of did because it was so dark and it's a little bit wet, and I was using big nibs. But no real problems. So there you go. All right. You can compare this, like the darkness of this red, this like sort of. I mean, it's a red, but it's like a real dark, like a brick red almost, to Papier Plume's Azalea down here. So there you go. It's actually a little bit close to this Zebra Sarasa that I had. This is like a wine-colored Zebra Sarasa pen, and it's kind of close, actually, to the Urushi Red. That's neat. So anyway, all right. Let's see, what other papers do I have this on? I've definitely got it here in my Tomoe River ink journal. Let's see, there's the Black Swan and English Roses down there at the bottom, right here. And it's got to be on the next couple of pages. There we go. This is the loom. This is when it was in the fine loom nib, which is, it looks pretty nice actually out of that nib. Still get plenty of shading. Of course, this is Tomoe River, and if you know Tomoe River, you know that it shades everything. And here it is from the 1901. Apparently, I didn't write down that it was in the Panther 40, but it totally is. That's what it is, I promise. There you go. And then, let's see. I've also got it in my currently inked book. This is from the Pen Habit. Matt Armstrong makes and sell these. Go and get some of these because these are also pretty cool. They're not as the paper's not as like coated or whatever as the Tomoe River, so you get like better ink penetration and you don't get nearly as much shading, I don't think. But still, you get quite a lot of shading with this guy. This is the Franklin-Christoph, of course, as it says. And you get a lot of nice shading. It's actually a very nice looking ink on this paper. This paper really shows ink well. I like that a lot. There's a couple of other things. There's like Robert Oster Red Orange. What else is in here that's kind of close? There's that azalea from Papier Plume. Anything else in here that's red? No, I don't really have too many reds right in this here book. There's Lover's Red. This is that super burgundy-ish one. Anywho, there we go. All right, I think that is all the things. So here's all the stuff. This is Franklin-Christoph's Urushi Red. This is their newest ink that I am aware of. And you can find this on the Franklin-Christoph website, which is franklin-christoph.com. I think that's about the only place to find it. There are a couple of other places. I think Papier Plume stocks it, and you'll find it intermittently, I believe, at Anderson Pens, like if they buy some at a pen show. That's pretty much it. They don't really sell anywhere else. So there you go. Go over to Franklin-Christoph, tell them I sent you, and I will see y'all later. So I am Mike. This is inkdependence.com. Go to inkdependence.com for the blog. If you're looking for the YouTube channel and you're not already watching it on the YouTube channel, it is youtube.com/c/Michael Madison. That is my name and my channel. If you want to find me on Instagram, go to @inkdependence. And that's all you need to know. I think that's all the things. So there you go. Thank you very much, and peace out.